record these videos. So I'm starting today. This is our second open house for peace and understanding for this academic year of 2022. Last week was a soft opening. This week is our first one where we're going to dive into some subjects. Thank you, Raid, for bringing us so many students from Jordan. I see that we have already 8 students, I believe, 7 from Jordan and 1 from Tajikistan. I know Nazanin quite well. For over the last 6 months, we've been working together on human rights projects. So I'm happy that she will join us. So today's lesson is going to be about bullying, and I want to meet all of you to learn about what you think about bullying, and we're going to be basically sharing stories. So I thought I would start today with my own story and how my sister Bethany opened my eyes. I've been very fortunate through my life to have many great teachers, both academic, spiritual teachers, and just many wonderful people that have had a big influence on my life. And one of the biggest people who has had an influence was my sister Bethany. You can see that's a picture of me and my little sister when I was a little boy. Bethy was born with special conditions. When I was a child, people would label or call Bethy retarded. That was the normal name to call somebody who had mental or physical challenges. And Bethy was a sweet sister. We used to play push. She was not able to see very well, so she liked to have sounds. She loved loud sounds. She loved to listen to music. She would play with a plastic bowl, and she was very famous to laugh when anybody would sneeze, or even better, a cup or a glass would fall over and splash on the ground and make a big noise. Everybody thought that was she thought that was very, very funny. But the story I want to tell is one day when I was in college, I came home. I had a big family. I was very lucky to have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and I was the oldest. And one day I came home from college, and all of my brothers and sisters were all in high school and in college as well. And we came home, and my sister Bethy was home, and we ate pizza together on a big table in the kitchen. And at the end of eating the pizza, it was quite common, when you're a teenager or in college, to just take off and do your thing. So we all left the dinner table. And Bethy was left all alone at the table, and she wasn't very happy about it. And she had a very unique way of expressing herself. She would, unfortunately, was very sad. She would bang on her head. She would bang the table, and we would get confused. And as kids, it was a little bit upsetting. So we thought maybe we should put Bethy to bed. And Bethy, she was an old girl at this time, 15, 14 years old, and she was not very happy about it. And she was kind of reluctant to go upstairs. And then I could see that my sister was struggling with it. And then something hit me. And I looked at Bethy and I said, Bethy, just because you can't speak any words, because you don't talk, you can only say hi and bowl and wawa. Because she could only say these few words, we all assume that you don't understand, but I don't think that's true. I have a feeling that you can understand every word we say, every little story. And she looked at me and she hugged me and she started to cry and cry and cry. And that became a very powerful day in my life, particularly as a teacher, because I began to realize that no matter how you look or how you behave or what you say or don't say, we all have feelings, and we all understand things a lot better than anybody else could possibly understand. So many people assume that we don't know just because you don't say anything, and that's not true. We do understand, and I was hoping that maybe that little story could have some meaning for you. I don't want to be the only one talking, so from time to time, I'm going to ask people to share their thoughts. And before I move to the next subject, I'm wondering if anybody could tell me what they think I learned in that experience from hearing that story. You can unmute yourself and just speak out. We don't have a huge crowd. Or also, if you can turn your cameras on, I can kind of get some idea as to whether or not this looks of interest to you. Do realize that later on, I am going to ask you questions. There we can see Zain. Hello, Zain.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. I know that Chris joined us today.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Chris. Thank you. Chris is from Poland. So now we've got 3 countries representing us today. Chris, I hope you were able to hear the whole story today.
I wasn't, but I'm here right now and trying to Bluetooth my wireless connection. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, when
great.
I will send you a link to the story.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Let's, because in just 10 minutes, our next group is going to come. So why don't we look at the different types of bullying. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this subject, but there are basically 3 different ways that, or 4 different ways that people bully. One, as you can see in this picture, and I'll zoom, whoops. One in this picture, you can see that people can use physical bullying. There's also verbal bullying, social bullying, and virtual or cyberbullying. And I was hoping that maybe just before, in the next 10 minutes, if each of you could share with me an example of, and I'm sorry, this is where, Chris, if you want to be able to see the story, I'll put it in the chat. The story of Bethy is on this link if you want to hear it again, and as well hear more of my thoughts about education. But I wanted to hear from all of you as much as possible what you think are the different examples of physical, verbal, social, and virtual bullying. I'm going to need to get at least 4 of you to give me at least one example of each. So Zana raised her hand. Perfect. Zana, can you share us one example? Ask to unmute. Zain, can you?
Oh yes, I can hear you. I had a trouble with my connection. Hello.
Okay, now I can hear you. Perfect. Because you raised your hand, and
yes,
and then Salim also raised his hand. So I'd love to get some examples. Yes, please share.
Well, would you please repeat the question again, because your voice was breaking previously?
Okay. So the question is different examples of how bullies behave. Then we have physical types of bullies, verbal types of bullies, social and virtual bullies. So I was wondering, before I give examples, if some of the students today could share with us their thoughts on what would be an example of physical bullying and verbal, social, and virtual.
Well, I'd like to give you an example of the physical bullying since it's very common in our society, especially in my age and in my generation. It's like the most common thing that I could tell
Okay.
you. Well, the physical bullying could be in many ways. I could bully you because of your skin color. I could bully you because of your body shape, because of your skin texture. And since we live in such a very modern world in the social media where everything is just super perfect, we don't now see normal bodies, we don't see normal skin texture. Everything is just so perfect. So we judge. And why do we judge? We judge because of our inner insecurities. So I don't really blame the people here in this field, but I think we should see, of course, some development more. And yes, this is my example.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you. I mean, you mentioned that like it was very common because of different types of bodies and skin color for different bullying. So what would be the action? Like what would happen? Give it an example of what.
Well, we should go back to the roots. Each idea that we have, or I'd say each belief, has roots. So as a society that wants to see a changing or a game-changing thing, we should go back to the roots and see what is that thing that makes people so insecure that they are bullying each other constantly, that they are trying to boost their ego up and making themselves like, oh my God, I'm better than you. I have a much clearer skin. I'm better than you. I have the ideal body shape. So yes, I think we should go back to the roots and boost our egos in more healthy ways.
Okay, absolutely. I mean, and I think one of the most important things is to begin to become aware of how some of this stuff starts or why people behave the way they do. I'm still looking for like what would be the actual different examples. So maybe I'll ask Salim. Salim, you had your hand raised. If you could unmute yourself and share with us your ideas.
Hi there. Hello, sir. We're going to talk about virtual bullying. Virtual bullying is there's multiple platforms that actually use this type of bullying, like Twitter or Reddit or anything else. These virtual internet bullying is very used by common people. For example, let's say you posted a video on YouTube. People will tell you that your video is bad. There's something else that you're the bad person of making a video. That's typically bullying. Telling you that very much so that you cannot make a good video on the internet. That's the reason how cyberbullying works. And thank you, sir, for the story you told us about. My brother's artistic as well, sir.
That's good. Well, I was always taught that it was a gift. It was always a gift. It was always a gift to have a sibling with these ability to be very close to us in different ways. I'm going to get to that when we start talking about different characteristics. But okay, so the virtual type of bullying. Okay, somebody makes a post and then someone says publicly something not nice about it. That's a very common way, and maybe if I rather than giving something what we call constructive criticism, they just give negative thoughts, negative feedback, and it can make people feel bad, especially if it's happening over and over again. Excellent example. Can somebody else give us an example of how these different types of bullying would work? I see Hazem.
Yeah,
yes,
hello, Mr. Benjamin.
Hello.
I'm Hazem from Jordan. I would like to give an example about the social bullying.
Okay.
Like,
please.
I was thinking about it. We can the social bullying. We can say an example like starting rumors about somebody intentionally excluding people from conversation maybe, and make shame of them of something they have, like this.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it works, actually. This is maybe one of the more, it's a little bit hard to distinguish what is social and what is virtual. So, social bullying would be, just like you said, imagine that you're having lunch, or there's, you meet after school and a bunch of friends are sitting underneath a tree. And when you go to join these bunch of friends, they all turn their backs or pretend that you're not there. And
Like I'm not here, yes.
yeah, and that would be a form of social, social bullying. Exactly. It's not virtual ghosting. You could almost call it real,
Reality. It's realistic.
real life ghosting. If we understand what that terminology ghosting means. Yes.
I have nothing else to say. Actually, just wanted to give an example, and we discussed together.
Excellent. Perfect. That's a great example. We've got just a few more minutes before I think the Americans are going to join in. Can somebody give me a different example of what is verbal and physical bullying? I'm looking for a raised hand. I think I saw Nazim. Nazanin, can you give us an example, please?
Good evening for everyone, and I want to say, to get an example about verbal and physical bullying. I think that verbal and physical bullying, it's one kind of near, the meaning of them are near with each other. And I think that the verbal bullying, it's one kind of that someone says very bad words to another, like the girl Zain said to us, for example, skin color, or maybe some kind of hairs, short hairs, long hairs, like this. But physically bullying, I think that it's one kind of beating someone, or maybe like this.
Exactly.
It's
That's the difference. There used to be an old saying that I remember when I was a kid. It was called "Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me." But this was an old saying when I was a kid. They used to say, it was a little rhyme. Oh, if somebody said you're ugly, I could say sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. Meaning that, but that's not true. Some, words can hurt people. So
yeah.
when
break
somebody,
ourselves, our meaning of the life, and like this.
it can absolutely can make us feel that we're not worthy, especially if people choose words that are taboo. So we had talked about the color of skin. So if you were to call somebody a name, name calling somebody based on the color of their skin, that could be very hurtful.
Yeah, of course. It can get worse, very worst feelings, and we can feel ourselves so lonely.
Absolutely. So we've got Martina. Martina raised her hand. Maybe she would like to give us an example of physical bullying. Martina?
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about physical bullying. So it includes sending, posting, or sharing negative or harmful thoughts or mean comments about others. It could cause embarrassment. Okay. So I'm gonna talk about physical bullying. So it could include embarrassment, and it could be by posting or sharing negative, harmful thoughts or mean content about someone else.
Pushing or shoving somebody, absolutely, or it could be even, it could be going, sometimes people go boo and try to scare you, but in a not funny way, but in a way that teases you, that makes you stand out amongst everybody else. Absolutely. So now we've really got a great understanding of what how these 4 different types of bullying happen. Now I'm hoping that our Americans are going to join us at this time. They said they were going to come in around 25 minutes past the hour. If they don't come by 30 minutes past the hour, then we will just move along with the subject. But while I wait, we've just got a few extra minutes before I think they'll show up. Maybe somebody else has a different example from these types of bullying behaviors. I see some Latif has raised her hand. Yes, can you share with us?
Hello everyone. Good evening. My name is Laith.
Laith, very nice, Laith. So
thank you.
And what is your thought?
I want to talk about the physical bully.
Okay, give us an example.
The physical bully is action that someone does it to someone to hurt him.
An action, okay, and a physical action.
Yeah.
That causes pain or harm. Does it have to be physical harm?
Like, yeah, not yes. About physical, yeah.
It can be physical harm, but could it be also emotional harm?
Maybe, yeah, sometimes.
Maybe. I think physical, generally physical will be more of some kind of physical pain, but also you could use physical bullying to scare somebody or to make somebody feel that they stand out because of something. So to grab somebody or to hug them super strong in an inappropriate place, even though the person might not feel physical pain, but sticking out, making them stick out when they're scared could cause somebody emotional pain. Excellent.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Youssef. Youssef, do you have a thought?
Hi, Mr.
I'm sorry?
Hi, Mr. How are you?
Hello, very well, thank you so
I'm
much.
actually a guest, but I want to say a point about bullying.
Okay, please.
Okay, I want to say about the effects of bullying in schools or university.
Okay, please share with us.
Yes. The saddest part is that bullying can have long-term damaging effects on its victims. It can affect them physically, socially, and emotionally well into the future. And this is so bad to think about it.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is my point about their future and how can the bullying affect on their future.
I agree. That is the big reason why we talk about this, because one is it's causing pain, particularly in situations when people are not always so aware of it. Okay, I think we're going to move into the next subject matter here, and I think you will find this very helpful in understanding how bullying can happen, how we can identify these actions, and maybe build a better sense of awareness so that we can understand sometimes things that are different, even though they may not, they're different, just simply different from us. So there is this idea that is called marginalization, or let me say this differently. We have many preperceptions on what makes somebody a good person, a strong person, and what makes people a weak person. So I'm going to ask our students to, share with me, and we're just going to list as many different ideas as we possibly can as to like what makes a strong person and what makes somebody weak. So I'm just going to let people raise their hand, and as I see those names pop up, I'm going to let you share one or two different characteristics. Okay, Zain, yes?
Benjamin Burg.
Oh, maybe I think we have people from, do we have people from Philadelphia? Yes, we do. I see them coming in. Perfect. Perfect timing. I'm going to just stop this share so that we can see everybody. Hello, Penn Charter. If everybody can, if you have your video, now is the time just to do a quick video so that we can see all of these different people. We've got people from Philadelphia, from Tajikistan, and from Ahmad, Jordan. And I believe Chris is one of our students who I just met today from Poland. It's really nice that so many people came today. Okay, Mariana, did your Penn Charter students get a chance to look through my presentation before today?
I did send them can you mute I did send the links with your presentation talking about your sister Bethy, and we have looked at slide number 4 and we're ready to.
Excellent. Okay, so we just are going to jump right into it right now. I am most curious to see what different characteristics that we see in people, or how we perceive strengths and weaknesses in different regions in the world. So I know, Zayan, and please forgive me if I mispronounce your name. There are many new names from around the world, and I'm good at Polish names, I'm good at American names, but I'm not very good at pronouncing Arabic names. Hopefully by the end of this, our workshops together, I will get better at it. So Zain, can you share with us? And I'm going to go back to the screen share so that you can see the work that we're, you'll in real time, you'll see our notes. Zain, yes, please.
Hello, Mr. Good evening again. Good evening, lovely people. I'm delighted to be with you here. So, okay, I had a slight problem. So let's continue. So, Mr., would you like to repeat the question again so all the people who didn't attend previously would hear it?
Yes, I'm asking people to raise their hand virtually and give us different examples of what's a strong person and what's a weak person. So for, just like for a real quick example, an athlete is considered strong characteristics. So,
well, you may continue, Mr.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just like, what characteristics do we consider people strong, and which characteristics do we consider people weak?
Well, since we're talking about bullying, so of course I'm going to consider the bulliers here.
Okay.
So when we want to categorize the bulliers, of course, and without any introductions, they're going to the weak category immediately. And here we need to say why? Because they are deeply insecure. A bullier is never strong, no matter how physically he seems to be big, especially in the movies. The people who watch Netflix high school movies, they're always big, bulky, and they have those husky voices, but deep down they're very insecure. They're so easy to break. So yes, this is my point.
Very interesting. Okay, that's a very good perception. Okay, so this a perception that the characteristic of a bully is a weak person.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Leah, yes? Can you share with us a different example? If I'm just going to move to Mariella. Or okay, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
I was saying for like something that would be a strong characteristic is someone who knows what they like, knows themselves, knows what they like, knows what they don't like, has a strong sense of self.
But how would we define this person?
Confidence.
A confident person. Okay, so confident person is strong. Excellent. Is a strong characteristic. That's a good idea. Okay, excellent. Salim, do you have an idea?
Now, I think that the excellent from Jordan. Now, I think bullies are attacking, bully other people to reach their anger about their life. Some of them have very hard lives, and they use their anger to release it on other people. They make themselves they make themselves strong, but they're weak inside.
Okay, maybe I'm going to go try this a little bit differently, giving you some sensitive person, sensitive, mother, autistic, tall, male, female. These are different characteristics of people. A doctor, teacher. Do people consider teachers strong, or do people consider teachers weak? Like, oh, you couldn't become a doctor or a lawyer, so you became a teacher. So in some places, the teacher is considered weak, not compared to other professions. A tall person might be considered as strong, whereas a short person might be considered weak. This is the type of characteristics that I'm looking for. Can I get some more? Salim, can you pick something from that or a different example?
Wait, I'll think about it.
Okay, and we can get stuff from Poland. Chris, you're more than welcome to send something in. I need to at least have something from 1 or 2 different countries. I'm going to put in a different. Leah?
Yes.
Yes,
I want
please.
I want to talk about the weak character.
Okay. What would be a weak character?
The bossy attitude.
I'm sorry?
Bossy attitude.
Ah, bossy. Ooh, very good. Boss. Is the all right. Okay. Let me. How many people would say that the boss is a positive thing, a strong characteristic?
Can I explain?
Yeah. Yes, please.
In my opinion, who acts like a boss is very weak. Like he just wants to live the moment. But I think you can break it. You can break him easily.
You can break him easily. So the boss is acting strong, but isn't necessarily a strong person. Okay, so that's part of what we're, that this exercise is trying to show, is that in some cases there's a characteristic that's considered to be strong, but in reality, if they are miscommunicating and misbehaving, you can then see that there are some weaknesses inside that are making it difficult for them to communicate in a way that others understand. So I would say that in most societies, and I could be wrong, but that a boss is a positive characteristic. But maybe a bossy person is considered negative. And maybe that explains as well, this is my opinion, and the need for being able to express your opinion is something that isn't considered bossy, but considered just simply expressing yourself. So being able to express yourself isn't being bossy. Nazanin, can you share with us an idea?
Yes, I have an idea about strong characteristics. I think that purposeful people are they have a name and they want to go to get their aim, to get their dream, or like this. And I want to tell you about bossy, like weak characteristics, and also the difference between bossy and leader. The boss person.
Aha, very good. I lost your voice.
Oh, sorry, I have the problems with connection. I want to tell you about the difference about bossy and leader. Leader, I think that they are strong characteristic of people because they help for people who are less than them. But bossy, they want to be like leader, the number one, but they didn't want to help to people, to another people like this. It's my opinion.
Very good. So the leader is trying to help people, and the boss is just pushing
the number
people.
One always.
Right. Yep. Very good. Nice distinguishment. Zayan? Zion?
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Mister.
Yes. Go ahead. You had your hand raised.
Oh, I was hand raised before, but it's okay. I can go on with the subject. It's okay for me.
Okay,
well,
fair enough.
For the boss perspective, I think that many people have such a very, very negative definition of a boss. Meanwhile, I think it's a very positive thing. We need a boss in our lives. We need a boss in the work. We have principal in schools, for example. Like imagine a school without a principal. It's a disaster. And because many people would find like boss is about the law, is about restricting yourself and not being free. And this is kind of true, unfortunately, but it's necessary. So yes, I think it's a very positive thing, having a boss or being a boss.
Or being, okay, very good. All right, maybe one of our students, Matt, I see that you're in there. Hello, or Mariana, maybe you have some thoughts on different, what are considered weak and strong characteristics?
For weak, well, I think everything you put down on the left are people that all could be strong characteristics and have those strong characteristics. And I wouldn't say that any of those categories kind of like would define strong or weak. I feel like in each of those like either like defining, like, I mean, groups, I would say that a person could be strong or they could be weak.
But okay. I think the idea is like generalization. So let's pick something a little bit more extreme. We've got a rich person and we've got a poor.
I was thinking along those lines, Ben, in terms of people with money and people who work hard to earn money, but just influencers like on Instagram. Like if you ask anyone who they're following, like if you're looking at like the Kardashians or I don't know, who do you all follow? Like, I don't know, in terms of like people with means and just notoriety for putting themselves out there for whatever product or whatever silly dance they do on TikTok. Another thing I was thinking about, it's not necessarily strong or weak, but we talk here sometimes about how people who talk the loudest want to be heard the most, but that shouldn't be at the expense of somebody who's on the quieter side, whose words and opinions carry as much value. Just some ideas.
Yes, exactly. This is kind of what I'm trying to get at. You know, imagine you go to a lawyer's office to seek advice from a lawyer. And does the lawyer have leather seats and he's wearing a gold watch and has expensive clothes? It gives you a sense that because they have money, they're smart, so they're going to be strong. And if you went to the same exact lawyer's office and he was wearing a t-shirt and jeans and you met at a cafe, you might think that he's poor. He hasn't, or she, and I'm using the word he, again, all of these pre-perceptions that we have on what is a strong characteristic and what is a weak characteristic. Because this is where a lot of this bullying can go on, because we believe that, oh, rich people are strong and poor people are weak. But a rich person could actually be the opposite. They could be very insecure. They could be very afraid that they're going to lose their money. And whereas a poor person could be very, very strong, very resourceful, capable of doing many, many things with very, very little. And that would be a strong character. But because our society perceives wealthy people to be strong and poor people to be weak, if somebody comes into school who doesn't have the fancy clothes and looks to be rich, then we could perceive them as weak and then take advantage of that. And that's where we want to get to. And there's one particular eventually at this point, I'm going to want to talk about the characteristic of sensitivity. Because I have heard in my lifetime many times people say, oh, you're sensitive. Oh, she's just sensitive. Ignore her, she's sensitive. And people will use that in a weak manner, like being sensitive is weak. Like, oh, you're going to cry. So that's a sign of weakness. Whereas I would like to spin it, and I like to think that sensitivity is a gift. It is the ability to measure things that are very, very delicate. And if I were to buy a scale that can only measure 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 15 pounds, or 5 kilograms, 10 kilograms, 15 kilograms, versus a scale that could measure a microgram or a fraction of an ounce, that scale is going to be much more expensive. It's much more powerful, because the ability to measure something small requires a lot of sensitivity. It has to be very sensitive to the smallest of changes. And sometimes in life, it's just the small little pebble that can make all the difference in the world. I would love if we could get some other examples of this. I've got a bunch of raised hands. Let me go here. I'm going to go down the list that I've got here. Nazanin, yes, please.
Yeah, you're right in this, the male and female. Everyone know that men are stronger than women, the female. But I think that sometimes female can be more stronger than man, and that's why I think that male and female are equal, and both of them are strong. Sometimes they are stronger each other, sometimes they are weaker. This is my opinion.
Very good. Excellent. Wonderful. I'm just gonna go skip a little bit to one person who hasn't spoken yet. Gandhi?
Yes, I'm here, Mr. My name is Gandhi.
Gandhi. Okay, hello,
Yes.
Gandhi.
I don't agree with the opinion that the girl before me said. Men are meant to be stronger than some of women.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I think they're meant to be.
They're meant to be. Okay.
Yes.
That's your opinion.
Yes.
Can you give us examples of where you see that?
Like in every relationship, every woman needs a man help, a man's hand.
And can does a man need a woman?
Sometimes, yes. If they want if they have mental problems, they need a woman to help them.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So, and so in this case, you're saying like that the male, it can be is strong, and then the female, the perception is weak. But I understand from you that as well, they both male and female obviously need each other.
But I'm not saying that the woman is weak. I'm saying that men are stronger than women, but I'm not saying women is weak.
Okay. All right.
Do you get my point?
I got your point. Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Leah?
Yes, Mr. I just want to say that Gandhi is my brother, so I want to talk about this in his opinion. Okay.
Fair enough.
I think the life meant for everybody, not only for men or women. Like we are all the same, and the life is for all. Like the life meant everybody, not only like men are stronger, women are stronger. Maybe sometimes women are stronger than men, and men are stronger than women. So we can't just say who's strong.
No, but it's okay. You know, in this workshop, I hope that we can all feel safe to express ourselves, even if like sometimes we disagree. That's part of learning.
No, of course I respect him and I respect everybody, but I'm just saying my opinion.
Excellent. All right, I see many more raised hands, so I'm going to move in. Miriam, you haven't said anything yet. Miriam, welcome. Can you share it?
Hello, this is my first time speaking here. I just would like to say that the men and women standards are very different to every single person. So like what the two people that said their opinions about women and men being different is very different. They're both very different, the opinions themselves. But men being stronger than women, that's just a standard that's in people's heads. Men can be equally as smart as men, as strong as men, as they can do anything men can do. Anything. Like, for example, people say women can't be engineers. I heard some people say women can't be engineers because they're not as smart as men and stuff. I've heard a lot of men say that. A lot of guys in my class say that. I have lots of people that say that. And I respect them. They can say whatever they want. They can think whatever they want. But women and men are always equal. They can always think the same. They always do the same things. Like for hobbies, for example, too. Like women can do boxing just like men.
Excellent. Perfect. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to, at the end of this lesson, I'm going to give a riddle, a question. And for next week, we can see who gets the question right. Okay. Salam? Maybe he didn't hear me. So Zain?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Salam. Yes.
Now, women and men are very different, in fact. But women and men are very much so could have a lot of power in our society and life. For example, Queen Elizabeth, rest in peace. She was a great great queen that gave a lot of things about London and how England was a great country in its own standards. She gave us a lot of things that she did, and men like kings men could do some things like presidents and different types of things. It doesn't matter if you are a woman or a man, you would do great things in life. It doesn't matter the differences.
Okay. Oh, I'm afraid, did they, our Americans had to leave? I'm going to give the riddle really quickly before they take off. Okay, so the riddle for the question is, there was a father and son on a in the car. They were driving in the car, and the father and son are in a horrible, horrible car accident. The father dies in the car accident. The son is raced to the hospital in an ambulance. The son is being carted into the ambulance. A doctor sees the son come out of the ambulance and says, "Oh my gosh, my son." Now you need to think over the next week, who is the doctor? So I'll repeat it again. If you've heard me tell this riddle, or you have heard this riddle, please do not give the answer away. But
I have an answer.
You have, did you hear the answer, Nazanin? Because I know we've tutored a lot together. So
Yeah.
maybe you wait. I know you wait to give others a chance to think. Who is?
Okay, I will wait.
You will wait. Thank you. Who is the doctor? And last thing I've got to do before we all go away is, one second. I've lost my. Here we go. We talked about the different marginalizations of groups, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that next week. But I would like, if you could all, if you can, scan this QR code. I will send it to our Americans. I will, if I've got your email address to the, I will send this to Raid, our teacher. Join on Discord, and we can continue some smaller chats on Discord and get all of the information for next week. Bye-bye, Penn Charter. Thank you so much. I hope this was good. Thumbs up if it was good. Okay, excellent, excellent, excellent.
Goodbye for everyone.
Okay, I'm going to stick, I'm not going to leave quite yet. For those that are still, I've always agreed that I will stay around for 5 minutes. If anybody has some questions they would like to ask, you know, I would love to hear those questions. Yes, okay, I'll just go down the list that I can see here. Selim?
Yes, I have a question. We're gonna travel all around the world, or we're gonna stay in our countries?
You want to travel? Because
no, the question.
The question. Yeah, I have spoken with your teacher, Rad, about traveling opportunities, and yes, I would love to organize some trips for you. I live in Poland. Poland is a fascinating European country that also happens to be very inexpensive compared to Western countries. So I believe that we can put together a fantastic trip for you.
Thank you.
Excellent. Somebody else have a question? You can just unmute yourself and just jump right in.
Yes, Mr. I don't have a question, but I have a comment, like a quick one.
Please.
Well, it's a kind of a firm comment, but before I say anything, I respect all the opinions and all the different opinions here. So when it comes to what Gandhi said previously about the equation between men and women, that is like the question of the century, or I take centuries to be accurate. Well, he mentioned a very toxic sentence, in my opinion, which was, a man needs a woman when he wants to solve his mental health problems. And my answer is, a woman's not a therapist. It's your partner. Like, it's when you're talking about the healthy relationship. But when it comes to the toxic one, yes, I'd say that a woman is a therapist, or a man is a therapist for the woman. So since we're discussing beliefs with people who are like so confused about this field, I really like to make sure that we're sharing the right beliefs and the right things here, not the toxic ones. And that was just my comment. Thank you.
Well, I thank you both for sharing this. Thank you both. It's so important that we hear, or that we can feel safe to share something, and then others can come back and say, "Hey, when I heard you say that, it felt harmful to me." Not because I think you're doing it to be mean, but because, hey, let me show you a different perspective, and that is that maybe the woman isn't supposed to be a therapist, but a partner, and as Zain mentioned, in a healthy relationship, then both sides can be supportive when that need arises. Because in life, we all feel physically strong at some points, and then there are moments when we can get sick, when a virus comes and we need to get care. We also can be mentally strong, but
Yes.
something can happen in our life, like our parents can pass away, or they can get sick, or our child can get sick, or our friend can become sick, and you are concerned and worried about that, and you either both sides would need to have that kind of support.
But you know what, Mr. Like, the last thing that you want when you have mental problems is a relationship. So it was like a very confusing thing for me. Like, you have mental problems, why would you want to be in a relationship in the first place? So yes, that was just my comment. Thank you again so much for everyone.
Thank you too. This has been, I'm hoping this will be a really great learning experience for everyone.
Mister, can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
I figure I got an idea, an example, but I can't figure out if that's a strong or weak person. I think you're gonna help me with that.
Okay, go ahead.
The people who see themselves above everyone.
Mr. We call it Mr. Know-it-all, or Mrs. Know-it-all, a know-it-all, a person who's like, oh, I know everything. And is that a strong or weak person?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mr. Riyad, you had your hand raised?
Yeah.
And then okay, go ahead. Yes?
Right, yes. And the first, I want to say thank you, and I'm so proud to be a part of this meeting and this group. Thank you for everyone. Zain, Gandhi, thank you for your opinion, Mariam, Hazem, all. I don't want to forget anyone. About what Salim or Salim is, Salim, I think, when he invite you, Benjamin, to visit Jordan, I want to tell him this is our target in the future. You are welcome in Jordan, and I hope to take a chance to visit Poland. Our students in Jordan, to visit Poland. Again, thank you for everyone, and I'm so proud to be one of this group.
Excellent. This has been this is a great group. We've got a lot of people. I've got two people more who had raised their hand. First, there was Amjad Swiss. You had a question or a thought that you'd like to share with us? Amjad? Or Asil? Maybe Asil? Go. I'll let Nozanin. Can you say something then? One more comment.
Yeah, I want to say something about our class. It was very wonderful class. I believe that everyone learned something new for themselves, and I want a lot of new classes with you.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Have a nice day to everyone.
Okay. Yusuf.
Yeah, hi, Mister. I want to say the one last point about the bullying people. I would like to say at the end, what goes around comes around. about bullying people.
Mm-hmm.
They have to know that.
What comes around? Okay, so if you bully, you might get bullied yourself.
Yeah, of course.
All right, well, maybe we want to prevent the whole bullying part to begin with. But I hear, there is definitely a full cycle part. This is true. Okay. Just real quick before we leave, can we get one set of pictures? If you can turn on your video and smile, I would love to see your smiling faces. I'm going to take a screenshot so that I can show how many great people came for this lesson. Maybe you can wave, and I'm going to hit capture. Smile. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. I will see you all, I hope, next week.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a lovely time. Thank you so much again.
Thank you too.
for the
Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Goodbye.
thank you, sir.
Thank you also.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Wonderful. Thank you. Great to see you.
Hello, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Nice to see you, Nazain. Excellent. I'll see you. I hope to see you soon. Bye, everyone.